Hey guys, welcome back. Skygrid the Boomer. And so when we left off the last episode, we had finished the inner circle, which you can see over my right shoulder. And then we went to work and went to work. And again, we went to work. And if you take a look, the second ring of pathway is complete all the way around. As this continues to go out, obviously the severe amount of materials that it takes grows exponentially with each ring. The first ring, took up maybe close to a shulker box between the concrete, the sea lanterns, and the leaves. The second ring took up almost 3. The third ring is a 200, I believe it's a 208 block and a 216 block circle that will go out just to about the edge, maybe a little bit past that edge of the grass so that we can see to be completely filled in. And so the amount of materials is going to be even more insane. So before I even start that third ring, I need to farm at least a shulker box worth of spruce leaves and probably a shulker and a half of black concrete powder and the light gray. And then I'm going to need at least probably a good shulker's worth of sea lanterns as well. But that path will continue out and go all the way around the base. But today, one of the things we talked about in the last episode was getting farms out into this area, and we've kind of gotten underway. And I was looking, like I talked about before, the server's spawn shops have a daily limit of 5,000 of items, and most items aren't really worth spending a ton of time because of the price. Like I said, you get 50 cents for each sugar cane, you get 50 cents for each cactus. You get, I think it's 75 cents on carrots and potatoes. Now, in other words, not bad. You get 4, I think, pumpkin, you get 5. So some things are decent, but that's $25,000 a day, which isn't too bad. However, the one thing that we seriously need more of on a server is bone meal. I go through, an average day could be 50 to 60 double chests worth of bone meal. And honestly, if I ran all my farms, more likely it would probably be to run them as often as I would like to and need to for coal, iron, quartz, glowstone, redstone, and so on. I could probably burn through 300 to 400 dubs, probably about 400 dubs of bone meal a day. Most of the time these farms aren't running simply because I don't have enough bones. Now, at the end of the first path, going out that way, we do have 36 wither skeleton spawners, or 34, or something like that, 38, somewhere in that range, that can run and get us bones. However, we figured if we can go ahead and build the farms as this being a city that was originally planned. This was actually going to be like a city business. The whole business was really a city. They would have different buildings going up within it and different farms housed in each one. And instead of tossing up pumpkins after I hit 5,000 for a day, we're going to send them to a composter. Now, granted, if I had even 250 pumpkins being farmed at once, which is roughly 2 layers of what this farm will be, I'm not going to generate a ton of bone meal. Well, that's kind of what I had inside this tower, is I had 75 pumpkin farms that were running close to 24/7. So it created some bone meal. It probably got me a double chest worth of bone meal. If I could have 20 times that, or even 10 times that, 750 pumpkin farms running nonstop, 24 hours a day, and melon farms and cactus and sugarcane and bamboo and mushroom and all the other types of farms, and carrot and potato and wheat and beetroot and all that stuff, and sending all those extra drops to composters to get me bone meal. I'm being a little optimistic here, but I might be able to generate another 40 to 50 double chests a day of bone meal when all of these are finally built and fully up and running to their capacity. And one of the things I'm going to do is make sure that every one of these farms that we build are very redstone friendly to the server. We do not want to cause lag on the server. I'm kind of known on this server for the last 3 or 4 years. People who visit my base tend to lose a lot of FPS because I have so much running. But the other challenge I've had is a lot of my farms have been built with glass, meaning glass walls. And when you can see into a server, every time something moves, gets changed out of place, what happens with Minecraft is you get a light update. Well, when you get a lighting update, that lags the server. Imagine having that happen millions of times a day. So we've been working on redesigning all of our farms to look more like city buildings. And so the goal at the end of the day is all of my farms are 100% light contained, meaning every time one of these pistons fires and a light update gets caused now, this will no longer happen. They will be contained. The game will not have to draw the light update. And hopefully, therefore, dramatically reducing lag. In addition, we will not be using vanilla hoppers on any of this. This will be 100% upgraded mass suction hoppers. Now, I was trying to see just how far you can upgrade those hoppers. The new upgrades can actually suction on a radius of 8 blocks, including the hopper. So 7 blocks away from the hopper, plus the space the hopper occupies. That would give me, one hopper in the middle of all this could pick up a 15 by 15 by 15 cube. The problem is, I built a building just a tiny bit bigger. It's just a little bit too big to encompass this. So I'm going to use 4 hoppers at suction level 6. So they'll cover an 11 by 11 by 11 cube, which means if, on a Y scale, if that's block 1, the pumpkins sit on 2. The hoppers could sit on 8, suction down to 2 and up to 14. So if I've done my math right, 4 of those placed in the right spot will cover 3 layers easily, possibly a 4th. If I put them on level 8, let's see, that's level, right? Grass is 1, 2, 3, 4. Grass will be 5. They'd farm on 6, 7, 8. Grass would be on 9. So, I might sacrifice 1 plant just to get it centered so that it can cover 4 layers versus 3. I don't want to overdo the hoppers in there, but they are all going to teleport and sync to one general collection area to send all of this stuff into my composting area. So how to build this? Now, our server's in 1.14.4, and that's kind of critical to know. Previously, we were in 1.12.2, so this same kind of farm pretty much worked then. In 1.13, Mojang made a major programming boo-boo and set it so that in order for these to grow pumpkins, there had to be a block above the stem. There had to be a block of air. They fixed that in 1.14, so it's no longer the case, so these can be compacted. So what we have here is we put down the pumpkin seeds, and we can put observers facing right at the stems. Get the hitbox so that every time the stem grows or grows a pumpkin, it sets off a signal that the observer picks up. That's going to place that signal into this stone brick block. And then what we're going to do is that will actually trigger the the note blocks here with a redstone signal, which then powers these pistons. What the piston will do is fire down and hit the pumpkin, melon, whatever type farms that we're using for this. And then the suction hoppers, the upgradable hoppers, will automatically pick the pumpkins up. So let's kind of just watch here. I've placed a bunch of this already. So every time you see a note physically displayed on a screen right there, so one of those down there just upgraded a stage. Every time you see one of those, that means the stage of the stem has changed. Either it has grown one or it has now sprouted a pumpkin. So again, that signal comes up through this block, triggers the note block to be played, which then triggers the piston like you just saw over there and there. And then it comes here and it breaks the pumpkin. So as you can see, I do have some pumpkins sitting there. I don't have the suction hoppers in place. So yes, while I am building this, I'm going to lose a few. One of the downsides pre-114 with observers, they were horrendously glitchy, and Mojang was never able to fix that in 113. But in running these farms extensively in 114, so far they seem to be running exactly as intended. To where in 113, if a chunk unloaded as a pumpkin spawned, grew, whatever, the pistons would not fire because the observers didn't pick it up properly. And so you would go back and you would have all sorts of pumpkins sitting in your farm in front of an observer, and you're asking the question, why didn't this work? And that was nothing you did wrong. Most likely it was a Mojang programming error. I've had a pumpkin farm running inside of this tower for probably about 4 weeks. And when I went back and cleared it all out to save the materials to use here, not a single pumpkin was sitting. Sorry guys, sitting where it should have been. That's shame on me. I should not be asleep. I'm actually going to be uploading the last episode that you've hopefully watched as I'm doing this here. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to continue to build out this farm and then show you what the outside is going to look like, and then we'll complete it, and then we'll come back in a little bit. So I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll see you shortly. So hey guys, we're back. We've got the first layer of farms complete to where you can't even see any of the pumpkins. And so what I do want to kind of work on here is the exterior of this building. We've gotten some of the framework in place already of how we're going to put this together. And we're going to do some lighting on the outside with end rods, as you can see, is already in place. We're going to need a little bit more pillar quartz. Put some of those hoppers back. And let's see, let's just go ahead and grab a little bit more. Yeah, do we have some terracotta too? That's over here. All right. So how we're doing this, we've kind of divided the building up into 3. Each side is a little bit different length. So this side has a window of 6, and then a window of 5, and then a window of 6. On the other side of the building, I believe it's 6, 4, 6. Why didn't I make this building square? Well, there was one problem. Was fitting this design, maximizing its capacity while still fitting within the confines of the space that I had to work with. And getting all the other buildings I wanted to put into this place in the space that was allotted. And so I think from that standpoint, we've done a really good job of getting that in. So we're just going to go ahead and put the wall. We're using a pillar quartz here as the wall against cyan terracotta. And then end rods are our light source on the outside of it. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this more than once. Here on the Fnatic server on Skygrid, we do not have natural mob spawning. That natural mob spawning is turned off. So lighting doesn't even come into play unless, of course, you want to make it really hard to see your base. However, we are decorating everything we're doing with light because we want to build this as if natural mobs were to spawn, just to kind of see, okay, this is a survival game mode. Not to mention, I just think the end rods look really good. I think that's the bigger picture in all this, is that they are a nice complement to the build. So let's kind of take a look here and see. So we've got 2 on the sides and 1 down in the middle. I do kind of like that. The only question I was looking at was possibly shortening this one on top, one on the bottom, and bringing cyan terracotta up off the ground. And having it sit above one more block so we'd only have 6 end rods going top to bottom, and then have one more row of cyan terracotta on top of this. But all in all, I do like the side of the building. But I'm just trying to think when it gets time to do, because this is a pumpkin farm, we're using cyan. What am I going to use for the watermelon? I want it to look kind of natural. I want it to be something that would fit in the real world. So the other one, I might do either a gray concrete or, actually black terracotta looks really good when it comes to, because it's a dark, deep dark brown. Black terracotta is a dark brown, but yeah, it gives it a very deep dark brown to it. And with the wood, that might accent it very nice. The buildings I'm putting up, they do have to fit the surrounding environment. So this becomes a challenge because we're using oak, spruce, quartz, diamonds, kelp, and a couple of different concretes and spruce leaves. So all these buildings have to fit within this style. And so far, I think we've got a pretty good model for this very first one. But going forward, each one's going to get a little bit more challenging. Some of them may duplicate. It's not uncommon if you go to a downtown in a big city to see a lot of different buildings with the same color and scheme, especially like if you're in downtown, for example, downtown Milwaukee. A lot of old marble, a lot of old yellowish, marble and quartz type materials were used, and then putting it side by side to a lot of the new steel looking glass, some of the innovative buildings that went up. There's two very distinct builds within downtown Milwaukee. Looking at downtown Chicago, however, very, very unique build styles. A lot of glass, a lot of colored glass, a lot of steel, a lot of very unique new modern style buildings have gone up. So I'm looking to see how can we stay unique and creative in this build while keeping the entire build palette to go together, with allowing for creativeness, inside from building to building, because there are in every city, there are a lot of different unique builds that go up. Whoops. And so we want to be able to allow for that possibility. So as I finish this wall, we'll take a look at putting the wall up. Now, as far as a door, at some point I'll go back and I'll put a door on one side of these to make it look real. I want it to be realistic. I don't want it to be cookie cutter. I want it to, would this be something you could see in a downtown city? And that's the goal is, we want to be building real stuff. One of the things I spent a lot of time working on over the last map and now even preparing for this one was more in depth of building, the quality of what's being built and its purpose. All have to make sense. I don't want to build a farm just to build a farm, just to get drops. And I did that to get started in this tower so I'd have enough material, but I'm not doing it again. Those kind of days, I really want to push myself as a builder and go well beyond. The details that we put in this bridge. This is actually the third generation of this bridge being revamped and played around with. This tower went through a number of different color schemes and block patterns. And ultimately, this is kind of where I've decided that we're going to go with. And so we'll just kind of bounce back. Yeah. So now this one doesn't have any end rods in the middle. And that was done deliberately. I felt there were too many too close, and I wanted to give the other side of the building a unique feel to it, something that was different and not already there. So as I'm walking by, and this building will probably have a second floor for sure to start with, I'm not going to go berserk and build, 1,000 of these right off the bat. Each floor is going to have roughly 126 pumpkin farms. So I want to build a certain amount first to make sure with all the farms running that it's not killing the base or the server, and then go back and I'll add where I'm able to. That build is a very red slim friendly one, as a lot of these are all going to be observer based farms out here, and then the ones that are crop farms that will be, boy, I could have sworn I just saw somebody flying through the base. The ones inside, that will be the Android farms for carrots, potatoes, beets, beetroots, wheat, netherwort, those kind of things. So we'll have to watch and see if somebody actually did fly through. But now you get an idea what the outside of the building will look like. The inside will be again that. So what I'll probably do, I'm thinking from a door standpoint, I'm probably going to go iron just to blend in with the pillar quartz. I'm going to tell you what, guys, it's getting pretty late and I want to get that episode uploaded, or let's get the uploading starting so it's available for you tomorrow morning. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here tonight. I'll keep working, but as you can hear, I'm getting pretty tired and you don't need to hear me yawn. And so I'll jump back on tomorrow and we'll get this episode finished up for you. And we'll see you then. So everybody have a good night, and we'll catch you in the morning. Hey, good morning, everybody. So we are back, and we have finished the first of two melon farms. So our pumpkin farm is currently built with 3 layers. We have 119, I believe it is, 119 farms on each layer. So roughly 350 some odd pumpkins being produced. Yeah, I'm going to just go up here real quick. It's not going to let me do it. I have chat commands off. So we extended the pathway to the door. This is just simply for appearance. Even if I open up this door, there's nowhere to walk in there. There's nowhere to get in there. So even if somebody wants to try to glitch in there, you're not going to get in there. And if you do, you're going to get killed. There's hoppers in there. It's going to suck up all your stuff anyways. So, but there's plenty of room. The farm itself only goes up to where that second and third end rods up there touch. So I have another, ideally is this tower will go to 3 towers, 3 sections, and we'll have 6 layers of the pumpkin farm. And like I said, as I get farms built, I want to see how the server reacts, how my FPS reacts, so that I don't cause lag either for myself or for the server. Just to show you over here on the side what we did. The middle does have one down like that. We use the lighting to create the appearance of a slightly different paint job or color block, while it still is a pillared quartz. By not putting lighting in there, you can see what happened. It's creating a nice effect down the middle. And I think I really want to keep that. And so that's kind of where this is at right now. So I do want to take you over to where we can monitor how much this farm's producing in terms of pumpkins. So we're going to head up to where I have the auto composter built, right about there. Yeah, you can kind of see the minions in the farm. You can see the name tags. There they are. So that's about where it is. We're going to head over there real quick just to show you how much this is producing. So guys, this is where the pumpkin farm was. This literally was a whopping 75 crops being grown and farmed right in this area. We've just kind of cleaned it up because I wanted the resources. We're going to open this up, this whole area in here anyways. I've got these little, beetroot and wheat farms. We're going to expand on these quite a bit. We're going to test Android farms versus Minion farms at some point to see which one is more productive and takes up less space and resources. The challenge with the Android farms is that they can only have so many commands and then you have to loop it. So however I build an Android farm, it would have to encompass pulling fuel and being able to put items back into its interface to go throughout the system. So we'll test those separately. The Minion farms have a pretty good range. The other challenge with the Android farms then is to be able to keep up with that. But this is where the pumpkin farm was. We still have some residual pumpkins over here. This is where they're coming in. There's automatic suction hoppers that pick up and teleport into this chest. And then as the pumpkins come in, they're being composted. Now, you don't see it going insanely fast. It's because 375 pumpkin farms, this isn't going to go insanely fast. This isn't like the one that McMMo built that has like 5,000, or I think Impulse built one as well that has like 5,000 or 6,000 pumpkins growing at all times. So every time a pumpkin does grow, so there's 2, 3. Right now it's running at a clip of about 60 to 70 per minute, give or take. It looks like I'm seeing about 1 or 2, every second with a break in between. So I think right now, if I were to time it out, it's probably somewhere around a 75 to 80 clip per minute. I want to obviously increase that, but like I said, I am concerned about lag on the server having that many pistons being able to fire, although they are lag friendly because they only go off when the observers detect the block update. So maybe it's a little bit more, maybe it's 80 to 90, somewhere in that range. Now, pumpkins going into a composter only have about a 65% success rate. It takes roughly 8 pumpkins to get 1 bone meal. So that means I have to put 12 pumpkins in here just to get 1 bone meal. So it does seem like a lot, but like I said, we're going to have a lot of farms running, not just pumpkin, but melon. We're going to have beetroot. We're going to have wheat. We're going to have carrot, cactus, sugarcane. Every possible farm that can get us into the composter we're going to use. Some of them run much more efficiently. For example, I think bamboo is like a 33% success rate. Some are at 50%. Some are at 65%. So those are the ones that we want to focus. Even baked potato goes from 65 to 85 over a regular potato. So that's something we might consider as well. But then now we've got to get a fuel source over there. Well, guess what? Bamboo is a great fuel source. So maybe the bamboo farm might fuel an automatic source of turning potatoes into baked potatoes and then composting it. So we want to get really creative on a server, make everything as efficient as possible to get the most out of it. And all this, like, hey, there we go. We just got a piece of bone meal. Goes up to my automatic Slimefun coal farm. Now I've got it all going to coal because so many of the materials and stuff that are used in Slimefun are coal driven. We have a lot of ingots that get made with carbon, which is 8 coal put into a compressor. I think it's a compressor. We have a number of ingots that also use compressed carbon, which is 4 carbon or 32 coal. And then we have coal chunks, which are 8 compressed carbon, which is 32 carbon, which is 256 coal. And then, of course, y'all know about the carbonado, which is a whole nother beast. We have synthetic diamonds in there and coal chunks in there. So it takes an insane amount of coal just to get 1 carbonado. I think it's 512 because you have to have 1 coal chunk, which is 256 coal, and 1 synthetic diamond, which is 256 coal. Then they get put through a pressure chamber. So 512 coal give me 1 carbonado. Well, for example, to build a carbonado solar detector, which is 120 joules per second, which isn't super efficient, I need 1 of those. To make a empowered solar generator, which is 256 joules per second and runs at night, I need 4 carbonados. So I need over 2,000 coal. I need a lot of bone meal. So we're going to run those. So we're going to get these farms started. So you can see there is some bone meal being generated here. In comparison to the bones, hardly any. But every little bit helps, and as I get more and more of these going, I've actually set up 2 double chests to accept all that input because I don't want these chests to lag up and fill up. Now I know I've got a couple of items in here, like the grass needs to come out. Yeah, I have everything blacklisted from the farm, so it'll just come up. So if somebody does die right outside the farm, if it is in that range of suction, no big deal. Eventually I'm going to filter stuff so that only the items I want will go through those hoppers. That way if somebody were to try to plug one of these things up, they can't. I'm going to go back and edit those hoppers right away before I build anymore so that they will automatically be pumpkin. So if you do drop something, guess what? Your shiz is either going to stay there or it's going to go in another one of my chests and I'll sell it in the auction house if you're going to be that crazy or you're playing where you shouldn't be. So we'll get more stuff hooked up. The next farm we're going to build will be the watermelon farm, and essentially we're going to tear this down as well eventually to get all the drops out of here. We do have quite a bit of melon slices that I'll probably take to the spawn and sell off. Just like these remaining pumpkins, actually, maybe instead of selling off, let's do this. Let's just feed some of these in here. Now, I am going to save about a double chest worth of pumpkins to be selling at my shop. The nice thing is that if I need pumpkins any given moment, I can simply come in here and turn these hoppers off with a lever, let the crops that I need build up, pull them out, and then turn them back on. So that's kind of what the next plan is going to be, is to build a melon farm. I'm not going to build this one on camera. It is going to be the exact same identical build that you saw with the pumpkin farm. So if you have questions about that, please leave comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on those. We are going to wrap up this episode here. So off camera over the next day or two, I am going to build a melon farm. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If so, give me a big thumbs up by smashing that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Remember to turn on notifications so that you're aware when a new video comes out. But as always on Skygrid, we say go Boomer or go home. Have a great day, and we'll see you later.